the eating stopped. I said
So,
like
what it means, you don't eat anymore,
yeah,
or less, or
so the eating disorder was more like I just stopped eating. I was
you
at
stop
point
eating?
like
Wow.
39 kgs,
Wow.
in my 20s. And yeah, I was deteriorating, and I don't talk about that part a lot too often.
Welcome to the Daniela Baumann Show. I'm thrilled to have you with us today for another inspiring episode. My guest is Marie Cristine, the founder of Be That Life Integrate Health. Her mission is to empower people to transform their health and well-being through holistic healing. Marie Cristine's journey is truly inspiring. She's traveled the world, learned from healing traditionals, and overcome her own challenges to become a leader in health and wellness. Today, she shares her personal journey, her mission to help others, and exciting insights about her upcoming Be That Life Summit in Dubai. Let's dive in. Welcome, Mary.
Hi, Daniela. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, I'm so excited.
Me too.
Wow, we saw each other on the Global Citizen Forum and it was like bang.
Yeah, instant connection, right?
Yes.
I love those kind of meetings.
Yeah, me
They're always the
also.
best.
Me also. It's not only that we see each other from outside, it was only also from inside.
Totally, and that's more important, right?
This is what I really love,
I think we always gravitate towards the energy that we are.
Yes.
We're always attracting that kind of energy all the
So
time.
true, my dear. I'm so happy that you'll be here. Let's start with your story. Can you tell us about your background and what inspires you to focus on wealth and wellness?
So I was actually born in the UK, and I moved out to Dubai in the early 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
so long now.
So I've been around for a really long time now in this region. Wow. So although, I mean, a lot of people that live in this region have grown up here like me and are not from here, still feel Dubai so much as their home. I find such great inspiration from this country and what is built in just 50 years. You can imagine.
You saw everything.
I saw everything.
Wow.
Yeah. But also, I think a lot of their values and their leadership and the way that they have created such a dynamic, impressive city also instilled a lot of those same values in myself. And that's why I'm such a go-getter and someone who doesn't take no for an answer and really believes that you can achieve the impossible. I mean, the word itself, impossible is impossible, right?
Yes.
And I think that's the one thing that I love about being raised from maybe a city and a country that you're not from, because of the diversity that you experience from the classmates that you're meeting at school to the teachers. And, every year we had to change classmates because it's a very transient city. So for example, I would have classmates for 2 years and they become my best friends, but then I needed to learn to cope how to make new friends, because 2 years down the line, it's new classmates and new friends because they had to leave.
Yeah, this is not easy, huh?
It wasn't, but
yeah.
What I did find that was beneficial about that, it created me to come out of my shell.
Yeah.
If you live in a country like Germany or Sweden and various other countries where there's the pros of having these classmates all the way to high school and then they go to uni. They kind of are not given an opportunity to make new friends. You're not really pushed outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
And growing up in a city that isn't your own, you are pushed always to come outside of your comfort zone. So I grew up very extroverted because I always had to find a way to make new friends. And I think that was an incredible thing. And then about 6 years ago, almost 7 years now, I set up Be That Life. And the reason I did that was because I lost my father to cancer very early on, but also my son. I have a 21-year-old son. He developed a lot of gut-related issues at such a young age. And it was, as a young mom myself, trying to navigate that was challenging because I didn't have a health background in my 20s. I only got that in my 30s. And so, not being a first-time mom and being a young mom, I was only 22 when I had him.
Amazing.
It was really challenging for me to try to understand how to help him. And while, I respect conventional medicine and it has its place in the world, it isn't always the most accurate diagnosis for anyone when it comes to understanding either pediatric nutrition and what goes on in younger children to what goes on in older adults. A lot of the times there is a lot of misdiagnosis, exactly what happened to my father. And he was always getting checkups every 6 months, but they only found his cancer at stage 4, where it was too late. So,
wow, I can't believe it. But he make checks, everything.
Yeah, every 6 months they were doing the checks.
How they find it out so late?
Yeah, I mean, it was already at the point where he was peeing blood,
Oh.
Yeah.
So
and
sorry to hear
it got to that
this.
position. And yeah, I mean, he only survived 2 years after that. From the cancer. So yeah,
Okay.
as being the favorite of my father, it really took a toll for me.
Yes.
And I looked at health very differently after I lost my father, and also after my son developed all of these problems, which I fixed without the need for conventional medicine. So I was deep into studying traditional Chinese medicine, and based on natural remedies, I managed to cure a lot of the things that a normal conventional remedy or doctor couldn't fix.
Yeah.
So that's really where my health journey started, and where I discovered that really there are protocols and tools that us humans or individuals can really access without the need of having to go to a pharmaceutical drug and pick up antibiotics or medicines to help us heal from whatever it is that we're experiencing.
Yeah, I remember this, when I was sick, my mother bring me always like medicaments, she say, you have to take this, you have to take this. But there was no place that they go to the natural medicine or something who is not so strong. I think they don't have the mindset at this time. And today so many things get open, Today you understand, oh my God, all this stuff, what you put in your body, you realize this is not good at all.
Totally.
And this is very interesting that you have this, what I can say, this mindset in a young age as a young mother.
Yeah,
I think it wasn't easy at all, first of all, to become a mother in this age.
Yeah, and you're right, because challenges is what changes us, right?
Yes.
Without challenge, there's no change.
Of course.
So the challenges that I experience, like all of us experience, helps us evolve into so much better ways. And I believe, it was an incredible experience to be a young mom in my 20s.
Yeah.
It was hard, but also being faced with all of these challenges, I became so much more resilient and knowledgeable about so many things, different things in my 30s.
And this is beautiful, when you go out with your son, you maybe looks like the sister, not the mother and son.
I do get
Did
that
you have
all
this
the time.
experience?
They're like, oh my God, is that your brother? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, that's my son. They're like, what? I get that all the time.
Yeah, well, you look so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You look very young.
Thank you so much.
I can see like maybe 30, 35.
Thank you.
You look so young. Beautiful. Come again to your personal challenges. You shared that you faced difficult times with trauma, depression, and eating disorders. What was the key moment that made you realize it was time to change your life? It was your father, yes, why he is dying. Is there other moments in your life where you're saying, okay, now I have to change something. Now it's the moment for me.
Yeah, I think it's also, being a single young mom was difficult. That's definitely hard. And I think for a lot of women, it's also, there may be a lot of things in your life that's deteriorating or falling apart. And what's like the one thing you can control? You can control your food intake.
Yeah.
So a lot of women end up having eating disorders because they feel like that's the one thing they can't control. And as as individuals and human nature is, we always want to be in control. And when we're out of control, anxiety kicks in, the fear of the future, the fear of the present, you starting having self-doubt. You don't understand, you end up going into your little shell because you think that you can't become better, do better. And I think for me, it was more like a control thing. And that's the reason why, you know, I kind of spiraled into this depression, because it was at the same time that I gave birth to my son that my father was struggling with this disease. So having all of these elements and then going through, you know, a situation with my son's dad, was difficult for someone in their 20s to go through while I was just completing university.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's also how we are raised as we're younger has a lot to do with how we develop as we're older. And sure, you know, I have experiences in my younger years or my childhood years that developed a lot of trauma, whether it's through family, whether it's, you know, not being accepted at school or maybe a heartbreak. All of those things are elements to the trauma that we experience when we get older. And as we get older, we kind of like have trigger points.
Of course.
You know, when someone alerts a certain trigger in us, we kind of like become closed and don't want to open up anymore. So for me, it was a lot of, you know, trying to navigate my life through my father's disease, trying to navigate my life after he got sick, because he was my confidant, my best friend, and someone who helped me who was my guiding light through life. You know, and I found it quite difficult when I was not able to control his situation and heal him from what he was going through. So then the eating stopped. You know, I said
what it means, you don't eat anymore?
Yeah,
or less,
so the eating disorder was more like I just stopped eating. I was at point eating? Like 39 kgs.
Wow.
You know, in my 20s. And I was deteriorating, and I don't talk about that part a lot too often. So,
but it's good, you know, when you talk about, maybe some of our audience have the same problem.
Yeah. It's right. I haven't spoken about it too much, but it's definitely a topic I should speak about more. But it's just that, you know, I went through those experiences, but also at the same time, I couldn't stay in that spiral for too long because I had another living being that I had to take care of. So course. It's like
you had your son.
Yeah. So having to cope with that and then having to, you know, find the means to raise him, to take care of him. So it was all too much and in one go.
I had this also. I remember I was around 20 and I was going with my girlfriend to Ibiza. And then we met a group of dancers. You know, I was in the dancing business. And then one year later, I came back to Ibiza. And between this time, I was an au pair in America, in the US. And of course, I get some weight, maybe 6 kilos on my body. And then when we come again to Ibiza, I hear that in my bag that they say, oh my God, Daniela, she get fat for them. You know, I was so thin. And when you are very thin with 5-6 kilo, you can see it. And this was a hard pressure for me. This was also the moment for me. It was very hard that someone judged me about my body, and I can control it. And also, I look for every calories when I eat something. I look, okay, no, it's too much calories. You know, I judge myself about something what someone else was telling about me, and later on, of course, today I realize I doesn't care what other people say. It's the most important thing that I feel good in my body. But at this time, this was also a trigger point why I don't feel good. And then these things happen. When someone judges you, you realize, oh my God, something is wrong with me. You can control this. And that's why I understand your situation.
I think as well, you know, society puts us in this little box, right?
Yes.
And from a very young age, we're programmed to think that only thin means beautiful. And you can't have curves and you can't be excess in weight because we are created this stereotype in our head that that's the only way that equals beautiful.
Yeah.
And automatically when women or anyone is being judged for certain things, we're human beings that require constant validation.
Of course.
And because we need constant validation by human nature, it's also that we care so much about other people's opinion. And I think only with age do we start to realize that we shouldn't care anymore. But that comes with age.
Yes.
And it's so hard to...
It's too late.
It's so hard to, for example, educate my son who's 21 now about that, because he cares about people's opinion. And while people's opinion is important, your opinion matters more, right? But we can't teach that to them at such a young age. But that comes with experience and a wealth of knowledge and challenges that we face, that we realize that based on other people's opinions, we've lived our life and it isn't always the right path for us. It hasn't made us happy, you know? And then when we start realizing that, hey, the way that I chose to live my life actually makes me happier.
Yes, of
but
course.
It only comes with the experience.
Yes, yes. What you say is so true. Today it doesn't care.
Yeah, right?
But in a young age, it was so hard for me when someone do it something wrong. Not fair, you know. For me, it was always important that people treat me fair. And when someone doesn't treat me fair or unfair, I feel, but I make everything the right way. Why this person react like this? And you know, sometimes you ask too much to yourself, but when you ask them, they don't have an answer. They do it, you know, they don't think about. But you think always, why they treat me like this? And this is so waste of time.
Totally.
And later, when you get older, you doesn't care.
Yeah.
You doesn't care. You don't think. Maybe you think like 2 minutes and then it leaves. Before, I was thinking like 2 or 3 weeks about this person. And this is the good thing in life. That's why I'm so thankful for every day, for every year I get older and wiser. Coming about healing and self-love. During your journey, how did you discover the power of self-love? And how has it helped you overcome these challenges? Self-love is such a beautiful topic.
It is the most incredible topic. And I think, you know, we really need to speak about it so much more.
Yes.
We need to be like a broken record in every school, in every hospital, in everyday life. We should always be an advocate and promote self-love. Because with that, we would have a way more, a world that doesn't have war. We would have a world that is kinder to each other, less critical, less judgmental.
Yes.
Because I think... you know, what tends to happen with people who develop a lot of trauma from younger years is also you look at yourself as somebody that is not worth anything. And when we're so self-critical, which we are, by the way, we are our biggest critic. And because we're so self-critical and so judgmental, we can never look at ourselves in the mirror and say it's okay that we messed up. It's part of life to mess up. But how do you pick yourself up from all of those things that you messed up with or on? You know, what do you do? What are the things that what are the tools that you can find to help you become a better person? I mean, suicide rates are through the roof. Depression are through the roof in many countries in Europe, in the Middle East, in the world. You know, like there's this recent AI game, I don't know if you've heard about it, where this young, was it 13 or 14-year-old boy who was with an AI on screen and was playing this game.
Okay.
And the AI told him that in order for you to be with me, you need to leave that world. So then he killed himself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this was a massive public news over the last couple of months. And it just goes to show that, you know, up until where does mental health matter, you know, because it's definitely not a topic spoken about enough, especially because it's quite, you know, we are in this society where men specifically are not meant to be speaking about their problems.
Yes.
Like now it's getting better, right? Because we're having a lot of these men's circles and social media, which is like prompting men, talk about your problems, be more vulnerable.
Yes.
Because vulnerability will help you grow as a person, but also will encourage you and teach you what it takes to have self-love. So for me, though, my journey was more on, you know, I wanted to I didn't want my son to grow up in the way I grew up. You know, I didn't want him to have a lot of the challenges and struggles that I had. And I wanted him to grow up feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling respected, and feeling like, you know, he could achieve anything. And like any parent wants that for their kids, a lot of parents also have kids without healing their traumas, which means that they then give their children the same blockages and internal battles. They pass it on to the next generation. And what tends to happen is you're not breaking generational curse. You're only passing on the legacy to the next child and the next child and the next child. And then they end up broken, right? They grow up broken.
So true what you say. When I remember my parents, they're not here in this world anymore. You know, they leave the world some years ago. They never speak about pain. My mother, as I remember, she never speak about really deep inside. My father also never. He drank. He was an alcoholic.
My father too.
He go in, you know, he choose to drink before he speak, you know. He had a big pain in self. And my mother tried to, everything is good, but the pain was so in her body. And it hurts me today that they never speak about what they're really feeling. As a kid, how you can learn to speak about your feelings. You know, I learned this very late. I think when I start with meditation, start to love myself, then I realize there is me. There is a person. I learn to only attract love from outside. I was searching that I found someone who loves me, that that I feeling loved from others, but I never love myself. And when someone, of course, can tell you love yourself, you look at this person, how I can love myself? You don't think about what is love. You have to teach really people what is love. Start to sit down, to sit in the silence, to take time for yourself, starting with self-love. And I realized this very late, why my parents doesn't show me, and they don't know it better. We can judge our parents for this when they don't know it better. But in this world today, oh my God, you can go on YouTube, you can go on ChatGPT. You have so many options to learn about yourself, to change your mindset. The world is really open. But in my age, there was nothing.
Yeah,
I
believe,
nothing to learn.
I think the same, like our generation was very different because we weren't really given so much access to social media.
Yeah.
And the younger generation now, our children definitely experience a lot more self-growth, self-development, also because of the power of social media and what we can, like a lot of people are just self-taught. They don't even need to go and get a degree, and they study everything on YouTube, and they are so good. I know professional photographers, videographers, people who are web developers and are self-taught, you know. And I feel like for us, even though we had those challenges at such a young age because we didn't have the access to those things, I think we are in a place right now, the power of now, they say, where we are creating so much impact based off the knowledge that we know and what we're doing for other people.
And it's never too late to learn.
It's never too late.
It's never too late to learn. And I think this is very important today. You can learn so much things. And some people, they stop to learn. They think the life is over with 40. For me, the life begins in the age of 40.
Yeah.
In the age of 40.
But there was a saying that the life begins at 40. But you have to hit 40 to understand that life actually begins at 40.
Yes. when I remember, I become successful after 40.
Same here.
I realize I'm the most important person first. And when I feel good in my body, when I accept myself, when I love myself, I can love others. And also, I found, my biggest love in life found me, or we found each other after 40.
Yeah.
And this told me it's never too late. Why you waste your time in the young age to stay in relationships that doesn't make you happy? I came to a point that I tell myself, you know what? The next man have to be perfect. Otherwise, I stay happy single. And then he comes 1 month later. Otherwise, I think today when I don't meet him, I will be a very happy singer.
So
And
you
this is-
manifested that.
Yes, I manifested,
That's
and he is
beautiful.
coming, and I'm so happy. But in the young age, I was searching, to find the right man. You don't have to search or take time for yourself. This is the most important thing when you are young.
Totally. You know, going back to the topic that you mentioned on alcoholism and those that have been drinking almost every day,
Yeah.
like our fathers, we have a common
Yes.
aspect to that. And I think it's another thing that because our generation also didn't have so much information like we have today, they didn't know any better in terms of really how toxic alcohol is for the human body.
Yeah.
We don't have, doctors and functional nutritionists and brain health specialists at the tap of our fingers like we do today, back in the day. And right now, it's a constant overload of this type of knowledge on social media, in events, in just people that you're meeting that constantly tell you how toxic alcohol is for the human body.
Yes.
And now the younger generation are also starting to see that alcohol is toxic. And there's so many, including my son, who just doesn't want to drink alcohol anymore.
Oh, that's amazing.
Doesn't
My son
like
also doesn't drink alcohol.
doesn't
He
like
don't
the
smoke,
taste.
He don't like it. Wow.
Doesn't enjoy it socially, doesn't feel the need to succumb to social pressure, because we did it because it was like we needed to socialize. So we would just do it because
This
like our
was
friends
normal.
were doing it. But now, the younger generation, the Gen Zs are even looking at alcohol so very different, and they don't find that cool anymore. It's not the cool thing to do. You're cooler because you are not drinking, because you care about your health and you want to live longer. And I think that's cool.
I love this. Wow, I love this. Oh my God, when I look back, I feel so many times as a little child horrible. I had so much fear. I know when my father is coming home, everyone have to be quiet. Everyone have to go in the room. Don't say anything. My mother tell me before, okay, he's coming. It was always like fear. Oh, father is coming, fear. Okay, he's drinking before he comes, and it was horrible. And for every kid, I don't want that every kid in this world have this experience. And that's why this is so beautiful, that the young generation really see the truth.
Yeah, it's becoming definitely more of a woke culture.
Yes.
And before that, we were asleep for a very long time.
Yes,
and
very
now
long.
we're waking up.
Yeah.
We're waking up to the value of change. We're waking up to what it takes to live till a centenarian, so that's over 100.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be in a wheelchair at 80 and 90 and live in a home.
Yeah.
I want to be thriving at 80
Me
and 90
also.
years old, and
Yeah.
I still want to walk around and hang out and travel the world and do these podcasts.
Yes. Or in I'm a little bit older than you, my dear. I'm 58, and
You look amazing for 58,
Thank you so
honestly.
much. I love pole dance.
Yeah. Oh,
This
wow.
is my
Are you still
sport.
pole dancing at 58?
Yeah, of course. I
That's
started pole dancing in the age of
incredible.
40.
That's
I bring it to
incredible.
Switzerland. I open already. I didn't know, maybe you know my story.
Yes,
I
you
opened
mentioned.
15 studios, and I still do pole dance. I love it. And I also invite some ladies that was asking me, Daniela, please do a pole dance class in Dubai. You are invited.
Thank
I
you.
love to invite you.
I'd love to come.
It's an amazing sport.
Even though, let me tell you, I've tried it already and I was covered in bruises. I'm willing to try it again with you.
Of course. When I be true, in the beginning, when I start with pole dance, we call it in Switzerland pole fitness, have a little bit more the fitness aspect. And I was in the US, learn it, and my whole body was about bruises. But you know what was the problem? No one can teach me this in the right way. And when I start to create my level system for our students, we really teach them from the beginning, okay, you have to take the moment of swing, you have to go 2-3 steps. We teach them very safe. But I remember some teachers in the past, that they show the trick and say, you have to do it. And then what the women are doing, they jump on the pole and they get so many bruises. But when I teach you maybe you have 1 bruise, but that's okay.
I'd rather have 1 than 10.
It's such a beautiful sport. And I can really tell the truth today. You can can learn everything in every age. I was competing for Ninja Warrior. You know Ninja
No, I do
Warrior?
not.
American Ninja Warrior, when they jump from one obstacle to the other and
Right.
hang, do the hanging stuff.
So it's like a Spartan race.
Yes, I was competing in the age of 50 for the Ninja Warrior Germany, and I was the oldest woman, and I was thinking for myself, I can do it. I don't limit myself. And so many people today, they limit themselves about their age. And that's why it's beautiful to see women like you, to see other women from 40, when they do stuff our generation or our parents never will do it. You know, I remember when I was young, I was thinking, oh, when I become 40, when I become 50, oh, I'm old. Today I'm 58,
right?
and I think, it's how you feel.
It's totally how
It's how you feel.
But also we have a shift in the world.
Yeah.
And the shift that we have in the world today is that the 40s is the new 20s.
Yes.
And we talk about this all the time with
Yeah.
my friends, and we do it as a joke and in passing. And it's really just that, you know, how I feel today is even better than how I feel in my
Much better.
20s.
Yes.
You know, financially, like mentally, physically, I feel like way better. So I don't know what people are talking about that we're older in our 40s and 50s, but honestly, I feel like life has just started.
Yes, same to me. I'm thinking, oh my God. And then I realized, wow, okay, I'm 58 now. In 12 years, wow, I'm 70.
Yeah, it's
and then I realized,
wild.
oh, I have to enjoy every day. I have to enjoy every moment. I think then you realize that life is not forever.
Yeah.
It's not that I have fear about it, but I realize now every minute is so important.
Totally.
Every day is so
You know
important.
Oprah Winfrey, yes? So Oprah Winfrey is recently celebrated her best friend's birthday, Gail. She's also in her 70s. And they look incredible for their age. But I think it's, aside from genetically they're blessed,
Yes.
you know, because they're African American, so they're naturally like, just look way younger, just like the Asians. I just think the way that they live their life as well is a lot to do with how they look on the outside. If you stay away from stress, if you manage the way other people speak to you and not take it negatively,
Yes.
you know, and take a positive angle to everything, be kind, spread kindness, never choose negativity, you know, always choose positivity, it will show. Because disease always harbors based on emotion.
Yeah.
And I speak about this all the time. And if we're harboring negative emotions, it causes our body to develop disease. And if
So
you're
true.
always happy and always positive, and you're a person that is a glass half full kind of person, and you look at every challenge as an opportunity instead of a negative obstacle, you will never develop disease. You will always look young. You won't even get wrinkles, trust me. You know, so I think it's really about like, what is the perspective of life that you choose to have, and how do you then implement that in your current existence, so that when you're 70s and 80s, you're still rocking it and looking like you're 50. You know?
Yeah, you're so right. And I think also sport is so important.
Definitely.
I do sport my whole
Exercise is
life,
super
you know.
important.
I was a dancer in the young age. Later, in the age of 40, what I shared before, I come to pole dance. I think sport is very important for everything.
Yeah.
How you walk, how you stand, the whole position. It's not about only for your body, it's also for your energy.
Totally. But we all know now, based on research, that muscle is the organ of longevity.
Yeah.
We need muscle. And as we age, we are deteriorating from that. And that's the reason why a lot of people very early on, even in their 60s, they fall and can't recover from their falls. They are getting hip replacements at such a young age when they shouldn't be, because I don't consider 60 old. I still think like 60 is still is still young. And if you're not exercising with resistance training and developing muscle, your bones become frail. So every small fall or injury, it takes harder for your body to recover.
Yes.
And the one thing that individuals need to know that after the age of 40, bone density deteriorates excessively. So resistance training and definitely working out and building muscle will help you not develop any form of replacements in organ function late until your 70s, 80s.
Yeah, and I hear also what is most important, walking.
I love walking. I do it every single day. Yes, 100%.
Wow.
Yes, you heard about that.
I realized this, why also I love to run. But then I was thinking it's not good in an age when you are over 50, not good for your knees.
Our joints, yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of problems.
It's just the wear and tear. Think about, using your bicycle. And when you're using your bicycle every single day, the tires, they also wear out, right? And then you'll need to change the tires because it could be a flat tire, it could be thinning. We do this with our cars.
Yeah.
They have a lifespan of X amount of years and then you need to change the tire. It's the same with the joints in our body. The constant use and the wear and tear of it will develop, arthritis at younger years than if you were not focusing so much on high impact on joints.
Yes.
So definitely walking is better.
Yeah, I love it. Coming to your inspiration about traveling, you traveled to so many places and learned from different cultures and healing practice. Is there one experience or lesson that has stayed with you and influenced your work today?
Yeah, so the reason why I have been to so many countries too and I love traveling is because when I was younger, we didn't do a lot of traveling, So when I hit my early 20s, I said to myself, I really wanted to experience the world.
Wow.
Social media came into play where we had Facebook and MySpace, and I was always chatting with a lot of people from other parts of the world, and I started becoming fascinated on culture. And it, my exchange of messages with all of these people that lived in Holland, in Spain, in the US, just made me crave to want to experience what life was outside of the UAE. And I also feel without real experience from travel, you're never going to understand real experience of life.
Of course, yeah.
Because travel opens up your eyes to cultures, experiences, but also how other people feel and think.
Yeah.
And do
there
things.
There is something outside.
There's, yeah.
From this bubble here.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
And yeah, that's right. You mentioned that we live in a bubble.
We live in a bubble here.
And
yes.
It's, when you come outside of the bubble, the whole world is very different
it's
from the bubble that we have
but
in the UAE.
I love it. When I be true, I love it. Since I live here, I don't hear so much negativity. I hear only positive things. But come back to the travel. What countries you travel? And
oh my gosh, I've been to over 70, so it's many. And some of my favorite countries are definitely countries like Iceland, because there are only over 100,000 in population as people. So meeting an Icelandic is an incredible thing because there's just not so many of them. So I found Iceland to be a very beautiful country. I found that they are the closest to Vikings when it comes to their language, their DNA. And I found that very fascinating. And the fact that they are, they're a very cold country, but also just the landscapes and the nature that you find in Iceland is incredible. China is also incredible because of my understanding when I studied traditional Chinese medicine and then experiencing it via the Chinese culture and their natural healing remedies was definitely something that completely changed my life. Because the way, their teachings and their remedies and their ancient wisdom and ancient knowledge dates back 5,000 years.
Wow.
It's something that has been ongoing, that has been lost in translation because of modern medicine and, the development of antibiotics in the 20th century. And with the antibiotics, it has helped a lot of illnesses and disease, sure, recover, but also, it created a lot of problems for our gut microbiome.
Yes.
So although, antibiotics is amazing when you need to, get it after a surgery, but, what it does is antibiotics takes away the good bacteria in your gut, and it doesn't help it repopulate.
Yeah.
So you definitely need something like a probiotic and a prebiotic to be able to help repopulate the bacteria from the gut.
Yes.
Another thing is birth control pills. A lot of the women at a very young age, I know some women at the age of 17 are been on birth control pills, and they've been taking birth control pills all the way till their 30s. So can you imagine a decade of being on birth control pills? Aside from the fact that you don't obviously want to get pregnant from a very young age, a lot of women started using birth control pills for acne.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And because doctors would say that they would
Yes,
prescribe
you are so right.
they
Yeah.
would prescribe birth control pills and say
Yes.
that will help with your acne.
Yeah. I hear this also.
So you would take
in the
it,
past.
and because you want to obviously have better skin,
Yeah.
and not necessarily because you want to use it for the reason that these birth control pills are taken, but it also destroys your gut lining. So for me, I feel like traditional Chinese medicine have other modalities to help somebody heal from acne, help someone not get pregnant too early, an unwanted pregnancy, instead of focusing on pharmaceutical drugs.
Okay.
So because I'm such a believer in traditional Chinese medicine and even Ayurveda, which is the Indian practice, I have been so focused on natural forms of healing.
Wow. That's amazing. I love this. Oh my God. We do so many, when I look back, so many bad things to us without knowing.
Yeah, because we're
Nobody
not aware.
Tell us.
Unless you come from the health space or the health background,
yes.
you can't assume that people know this stuff.
Yeah.
Because they don't.
Nobody
The
teach
first protocol that any person does when they get sick is they go to the doctor.
Yes.
Because again, we've been programmed to think that the doctor is the only person that can heal us.
Yeah.
And for many truths to that yes, they can, but there's also things that they can't heal us from.
Yes. Yes.
Like treating the root cause of our problem, of our disease.
I'm so happy that we need more like you, more people like you, to open their eyes to this generation. But I think today you get all the information.
Yes.
You can search for everything. And what you say before, it's a big awakening. And I'm so happy that you realize, okay, for us a little bit too late. We put many things already in our bodies. But today, of course, you can do sport. You can do a lot of things, good things.
But also, you mentioned that there's also a lot of information out there, and it can be overwhelming for a lot of people.
Can be,
but I
yes.
also want to state that just because there's information out there, it isn't always the right information.
Of course.
So I think people really need to do their own research before they believe any influencer or social media personality online and take their word for it. So maybe something can sound very extraordinary and dramatically different than anything that they've seen online with somebody else, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right information. And I think if it's not researched and science-backed and done multiple of clinical studies, you can't trust their word for it. So I always would recommend people do their research first. If they hear
like you
something
have done before.
online that is radically different from what they're used to hearing.
Yeah, of course. You often talk about the importance of good health and its connection to living a longer and healthier life. Can you explain why this is so important in simply terms?
Yes, so I talk about it a lot because it's what we need for healing the world.
Yeah.
How do we heal the world if we don't start with ourselves? Yeah. We are a society that is focused outward. We're not a society that's focused inward. However, if we start focusing inward and understanding our human anatomy, because, as we're all so different, bioindividuality means that our gut microbiome, regardless if we come from the same family, the members in our family, it's very different from one another. And it changes based on situation. So you could be in the US and having the best time or going through a challenging situation, and your gut microbiome adapts to that. And then you can come and live in a place like Dubai and your gut microbiome adapts to this country. Did you know this?
Yeah.
It changes accordingly based on emotion, based on environment, based on the foods that we eat, based on the things that we let our mind store.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So for me, the best and most simplest information I can give for people as an advocate for gut health is to really understand your human anatomy, to really understand how to personalize what works best for you at every decade of your life. Because in our 20s, we're very different from our 30s to our 40s to our 50s and our 60s. There's a reason why our body breaks down in our 40s.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we develop disease in our 50s. And there's a reason why people are in a wheelchair in their 70s. And if people do not understand their human anatomy and, you know, what's going on for them based in every decade, they're not going to be able to thrive in each decade.
Yeah. Yes,
So the most simplest way for people to excel in life and live up until they're a centenarian in their hundreds is to really understand, how do I optimize my human health in every decade of my life?
Yeah, this is so important. You know, what you say, you know, every human is different and you have to find out what is the best for you and maybe also try it. You know, I hear about this intermediate fastings is very good, you know, that you try it. Of course, there is a lot of things going on and some people say, okay, today I can eat anything. Everything is wrong. But this is not true. You have to find out what is the best for you. Now, I love to have news. Your upcoming Be That Life Summit. I'm so excited. In February, you are hosting this amazing event with Bernhard Hiller. What inspires you to create this event and what can people look forward if they attend? Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We are very, very excited to host this in February next year.
Wow.
But the one element that I want to bring up is that people are tired of information. We are living in a world with constant bombardment of information. We do not need more information.
You are right.
What we need is transformation. And I want to be able to give people an experience in this 3-day, super dynamic, super immersive experience that they will come out feeling transformed. Because to give and to guarantee people transformation like that is not an easy feat. And not everyone in the world has that, first of all, gift and that talent to be able to create that type of transformation.
Of course.
And that's the reason why I partnered up with the best in Hollywood. His name is Bernhard Hiller. He is the #1 Hollywood transformational and success trainer that has worked with the top of the line celebrities in Hollywood, who has worked with the likes of Al Pacino, Leonardo DiCaprio, Lindsay Lohan, Stevie Wonder, Meryl Streep. These are all super big names. These are names of celebrities that have won Grammys, that have become the star in their life. You know, because #1 is acting is a very difficult skill. Yeah. You would know this.
Yes.
You know, to win a Grammy Award and to become one of the top celebrities in the world globally as a renowned celebrity is a really, really difficult thing to achieve, right? And we have all of our favorite celebrities and the people that we like and respect because we watch them and they trigger emotions in us that we've never been able to experience in any situation. And we love them because they act in a way that it's so relatable to who we are as people. And Bernhard Hiller does that for people. He's able to create such a drastic impact in day 1, in day 2, in day 3, and then change your life forever. Wow. You could be a CEO, you could be an entrepreneur, you could be a high net worth individual, and still the impact that Bernhard makes for you is something that you have never experienced in your
This is
life.
amazing. I met him already here in Dubai. He's so also very handsome.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward.
He is charismatic. He has a presence that is unlike anything. But also, for anyone that's listening to this and really wants to come to the summit, we are going to create the greatest show. It's going to be unlike anything anyone has ever experienced in this region specifically, because Bernard is a fresh face. And we have some special guests in the pipeline too that we will be having at this event that will really blow people's minds. The stories, the impact, that we're going to be having is just really life transforming.
Wow, amazing. I wish you good luck.
Thank you so much.
To be
there.
Yeah,
and I highly invite everyone who will be wanting to come to the summit to really be a part of it.
It's beautiful. These events, life-changing events. I think it's important that you take your time for these events, not for the party, not for Netflix.
Yeah.
Go on these events to my beautiful audience.
Invest in yourself.
Yes.
Because then that creates the legacy that you want to build.
Yes, you're so right. Oh my God, the time is running. My last question to you. Who or what inspires you the most to keep going and making a difference?
What inspires and who inspires me the most?
Yes.
What inspires me is I really want to create massive impact. I want a world that's free from disease.
Wow.
I want the younger generation to understand what it takes to be healthy. That is mentally, physically, emotionally. I want them to feel safe.
Yeah.
I want them to know that there are people in the world that may be facing a lot of the struggles that they are facing, that they're not alone, that there's people like me and many others who are advocates for this, that they can rely on, that they will always have a shoulder to cry on, and that they can achieve the impossible. And who inspires me to continue my mission and impact is every single individual that I've worked with.
Amazing.
Every single person that I meet when I speak on stages. Every single DMs that I receive from people who say to me that you have transformed my life based on the knowledge that I receive from you every day. Or the people who just stop me on the streets and say, Mary, it's because of you I left my toxic relationship. It's because of you I have become a better parent. And it's because of you I stopped drinking, stopped smoking, and live a better life.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Daniela. It's been such a pleasure.
Enjoy it. There are so many wisdom, and thank you for being you.
Thank you.
For all of our listeners, if you want to learn more about Marie Cristine, her work with Be That Life Integrative Health, or her upcoming summit, check out the links in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Daniela Baumann Show on YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where you can rate and share the show to help us reach even more people. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next time.